Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here. Welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. Today, we're continuing on in our campaign playthrough, the Lite campaign playthrough that is, with the Vanity company. We will resume from here, where, let's see, it is the year 2000. We are going to be producing the Jaws Mark II. That is our new car for this year, late in the year, December. And that is our new overall family car. We have the Bionic doing extremely well. One of our best cars ever. Even better than the Truffle. We have the Zoids, which is a pleasure project, meaning that it's an exotic car that I just wanted to make because it's awesome. And as we start to wind down here in our campaign playthrough, trust me, there will be more of this kind of stuff. And then we have, obviously, the Truffle, the van, continuing to do very well, making us a total of 4.6 billion so far. We have the Sharky, getting a little long in the tooth, starting to lose money, but was a very successful project, making us 4 billion. And we have the original Jaws, which will be going out of production here now, and should be, actually, it should probably be out of production already. A little worried that it isn't. And then the Magnet, which is somehow sticking around since 1981. People are still buying it. It's made $9 billion. Let's just quietly let this car continue. Don't shock it. Don't surprise it. Just let it keep making us billions of dollars. Alright, so what do we do today? I think we replace the Sharky, which was a convertible and hardtop. I think it's time to stop making the Sharky or whatever our convertible car is at the moment. Stop making it, try to do both. We have other cars in our lineup now that are doing both, like the Bionic. It is a coupe that is a sports car, so we don't really necessarily need our new convertible sports car to serve both purposes. This is doing just fine in the sports car category. Well, I say doing just fine, it's actually doing flippin' amazing in that category. The economy is actually in a little bit of a lull right now. Everything's kind of, well, it's basically at the lowest it's ever been in our playthrough. However, our sales are good, and it's been in a lull for so long that I expect quite a recovery here very soon. So I don't want to make a ton of budget cars, but it does make sense to make a budget car right now. So if we're going to do a Sharky replacement, I think it needs to be a entry-level convertible, basically a Miata. Basically, that's the kind of car we're going for. I'm going to guess it's going to be on a larger scale, though, a little bit larger than the Sharky is. Let's go back and look at the Sharky real quick. Let's see what it was. What was it all about? I think it was built on the not a Miata. It was indeed. Sharp-looking car. So there's our design language moving forward. It's a pretty aggressive-looking car. This one's pretty small. I think the Sharky's gonna grow up here for its second generation. That's the impression I get. So let's go do that. What did this have, by the way? What did you have? That's right. It had a real high performance-ish V8. So it was a Miata with a big kick. As time moves forward, I think we may need to downsize that engine a little bit and make this a little bit more of a budget-friendly automobile. We got almost 24 billion in the bank, so I'm not worried about anything at the moment. Let's go ahead and start designing our new Sharky. Let's click last 10 years, convertible, not much selection, and you are not a convertible. I'm sorry, I'm a very open person. Many things and people can be whatever they want, but you are not a convertible, I'm sorry. But it looks like the Miata is still sticking around. Actually, this is more of an S2000 body, isn't it? It is. This is new. Interesting. Interesting. And there's also this one. That's quite a bit bigger, isn't it? It's more grown up, but it might be too grown up. Ooh, that's a tough choice. Yeah, this not an S2000 might be the winner. It's a little bit bigger, and I'm sure it could probably get even larger yet. Oh, well, we don't really want to make bigger that way. Yeah, it can get a little bit larger yet. Oh, bold up the nose really changes the look of it. Yeah, I think this is the platform we will use. I like it. Personally, I really like S2000s as well. A friend of mine had one, really did enjoy it. Quite cool cars. So let's do it. Let's make our own. We already did our own Miata. That wasn't very Miata-like. Let's do our own S2000. And we're going to be keeping the Sharky lineage. Lineage, that's the word I was looking for. So it'll be the Sharky Mark II. Monocoque chassis with just galvanized steel and then a obviously longitudinal setup. We don't want to do front wheel drive. That's not the spirit of this at all. We'll do McPherson up front for cost saving purposes, but let's actually do... Oh, that's a tough choice. Very high engineering time, but what's... we have familiarity in it, so let's do the double wishbone. It's tempting to do it in both ends. Max front tires are currently 155s. That wouldn't do. We have more familiarity in the double wishbone, so let's try it. If we need to make this thing cost less, we can come back and go for the McPherson strut. But let's try the double wishbone front and rear. That would be nice. And that's a regular steel body. Well, corrosive resistant steel body. Alright, well let's design this thing and make it not look like an S2000. That is our goal. It's going to be designed for like the 2002-2003 model year, which is kind of right in that same era. But we can do projector headlights now. That is totally okay. Hot damn, those are some aggressive, mean-looking headlights. But they're actually kind of strangely inset. Alright, if you want it to make it look like an S2000, those are the headlights for us. Looks like this body has some weird clipping on the front of it, though. Remember the old one had very narrow headlights and a kind of a real aggressive-looking front end, so I'd like to keep that theme. That's certainly very aggressive. Perhaps a bit too small? A little bit larger. Yeah, that's certainly very aggressive. It's gonna take a special kind of grille design to make that work. And that ain't it. I'm very upset with you. I think I would like this one more if it wasn't so see-through. Yeah, from the top angle it looks fine. From the front angle it looks silly because there's no backing to it. And this one's just chrome version of that, right? You're right. Yeah, I like the way that looks, if not for the no background. Well, if that's the case, maybe we find a good-looking... Oh, that's the kind of weird-looking, aggressive, mean, happy-looking front end that creeps me out. How is that? That's not bad. Oh, well, that's bad. There we go. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And how about with a lip on the front of it? That might help even out this front end. I think we need to make it narrower. And a little bit narrower yet. As narrow as it would go. I wish it would wrap all the way around the fender, but it doesn't seem like it wants to. But that's not bad at all. How much smaller could we make that lip? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Now, those headlights don't have indicators, so we would need indicators in the front, separate ones. And I think that would probably work, something like that. Should they be in line with the headlights? Ah, no, that looks silly. Yeah, I think those small cut ones are probably a little bit better, but overall, whoop, camera. Overall, I'm not loving any of these. What if we stretched them out and made them very narrow? Like very, very short. And put them like here? No, that'd be okay, I think, but it would need something to balance it out. Maybe some fog lights? That's not too bad right there. The fog lights on the outside. I'm not sure it even really needs them because unfortunately they won't go on top of this grill. Would they go in it? Maybe. No, they do the weird thing. Alright, well that's fine then. All we need on the front then is our badge. Which is this one. Right there. Perfect. Well, no spoiler on this car. It just won't wrap right. That's okay. You know, I've yet to have any car where this kind of wing would work. I think because they don't curve. If they curved with the body, I bet they would work. But without the curve and they don't fit anything. Yeah, even that one. If it curved with the body, we could make it work. Want to know something amazing about the upcoming Unreal version of Automation? Well, I guess it's out now, but once it's done, the exhausts, you finally will be able to have them not just go through the body, and you'll be able to have the muffler below the bumper. Finally. That will be huge for the car designing process, because I really don't ever enjoy, for most car applications, these cutout mufflers or cutout tips. It's a little gross, to be honest. So, pretty good front, kind of back. Not really too thrilled with the back, and of course we gotta put our badge on the back. Let's get her down to size, right there. I think I'd be a lot happier with the back if I could gotten the spoiler to work, but it just doesn't want to. Womp womp. There we go, added a cutout to the back. That kind of opens up the back end a bit. It doesn't make it look quite so boring. There's a nice little detail touch. And I think with the proper set of wheels on there, it'll be just fine. Now for the actual interesting stuff of this car build. Let's see. Well, let's get it out of that obnoxious red color and into a nice dark green, maybe. No, that's not great for it. Gray, blue. The blue isn't bad. Would a lighter blue be better? Oh, that's way too blue. How about like a silvery blue? There we go. That's a little bit more of a normal blue, and I think that fits it better. I like it. Up the gloss. All the gloss. Yeah, super glossy. All right. Longitudinal rear-wheel drive, for sure. That is the theme of this car. And time for the engine. All right, so we're working on the vert version, which will probably be our only version. And let's think about it. So the S2000 was really cool because of its super high-strung inline 4 that made a lot of power up top. Our previous convertible car had a small V8 that made about 300 horsepower. It was probably a little overpowered for what kind of car it was. And we definitely want this one to be a little bit more budget-friendly. So I'm thinking, and I don't know that if I've made this in any of the other cars, maybe I have. One of the engines that I've found really cool, and one of the automation developers owns a car with one, is the Mazda really small V6s that I can't remember the name of them right now. But Daffy has a Mazda Lantis, and it has one of these really small V6s, and I think that's what I want to try and build, is a super small, very short-stroked V6. Let's aim for about 2 liters, maybe a bit under 2 liters. And we'll make it dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, aluminum blocked and aluminum head with VVL. And basically what we're doing is building an engine that's very similar to that S2000 inline 4, but in a V6 format. So we pack a little bit more punch in this thing, and much smoother, much smoother than that inline 4 would be. So we can probably get away with cast everything bottom end because it's so small and so short stroked. That will save us money, and money is key here. We'll have a super crazy VVL profile, and maybe a little bit of a tame bottom end, so that we can get some economy out of this thing. We'll go naturally aspirated, and injection. Oh, direct injection. Tech pool required 1, penalized quality -1. Yeah, it's probably too early for direct injection. We can do multi-point EFI. It says max power 208 horsepower. That's probably about right for this engine, to be honest. Twin intakes could get us 417 if we need it. I kind of doubt it, especially since I want to run it on regular. Right? I think so. Maybe. Let's aim for, I would say, at least 7,500 RPM, if not more. We'll give it a little bit of timing so that it can have some good economy. And we'll do short cast headers, I think is really the best we would need. High flow three-way cats. Easy for me to say. Straight through muffler and no second. Let's reduce that exhaust size. I haven't even looked at the power numbers yet. I'm just looking at the graph. Ooh, 189. That's pretty good. Well, what's the S2000 around? Now this is earlier than that, so this is pre S2000, and you know this is a fantasy world that the S2000 didn't actually exist in, so we don't have to match those stats. But 189 seems pretty good, right at the edge of its rev band though, so might have more in it. Everything's perfectly green, no problems bottom end. It's pretty flat up there at the top. We're up to crazy town here, 8,300 RPM before we start seeing a little valve float. And it's still making good power up there. What's nice is it has a good, 1,500 RPM of that full power. So with a, 6-speed box, you'd be able to keep it in those RPM. Even if the economy is garbage, you don't always have to be using it. So that puts us at, a 17% economy is not terrible. And 190 horsepower, but only 134 foot-pounds of torque, so it doesn't make much torque. Could it use more compression? Maybe. Oh, no. I guess I was wrong. 9.7, so it was right there. 191 horsepower. There's no VVT on it, but I don't know that I really want to spend the money on an extra 1 horsepower. It doesn't really help that bottom end either. Actually, going down on the cam profile for the standard cam netted us a little bit more economy. So 191 horsepower, 134 foot-pounds. I think those are pretty good numbers. I kind of also want to hear what it sounds like. So let's give it a run, see what she sounds like. Ooh, opened up. Sounds good. Sounds real good. Now, V6s are not the best sounding engine configuration, but when you drop the displacement of them super low, and they don't have a turbo on them, they can sound really, really good, I think, personally. So, I'm pleased with that. Let's give that a try. Let's see what it does. This is going to be a small displacement V6, no, not 76. And it is for the Lite, what do I want to call this? Well, it has VTEC, yo. Had to do it. Had to do it. Alright, so like I said, probably want the 6-speed so that we can use all of the available power band up the top. We'll just kind of dummy these out. Here we go, we're about to get our first scores. Let's hope for convertible sport budget to be one of the two that are there. And it's the first one that's there, and it has a really good score. Convertible budget and convertible sport budget both have good scores. Nice. That's looking real encouraging. With a lot of tuning left to do on this thing, starting back here because we took a lot of grill off and a ton of excess cooling on it. Walking a fine line here between wheel spin and correct gear spacing. But it seems like 7.1 is about the best we can get out of it, and 22.6 miles per gallon, not too bad either. We could potentially put bigger rear tires on it, but I don't think I want to do that and upset the handling of the car, since it's pretty well balanced weight-wise. We have one more tire quality to use. Well, that'll help. Did it go down? No, it didn't. Well, I was hopeful for a second. And brakes. Oh, we have just enough front brake. Just barely enough. We could just put a more aggressive pad in the front, I think. Yeah, that'll be fine. And in the back, pretty much nailed it. I don't think we want too much more than that. Yep, I just gave it enough to get rid of all of the brake fade, and we are set. Here, yeah, like I said, reduced the cooling area a bunch because it just didn't need it. Let's keep going down on that till it shows reliability change. And there it was. Okay, so that's how much we absolutely need. Gained us a little bit more MPGs. Standard CD versus basic cassette. They really like the CD, so we'll do that. Traction control, I kind of doubt. Nope. Stability control. They do like the stability control, but it's quite an engineering thing. So why spend the money on it? I don't think it's going to net us more money overall. Suspension-wise, it's close. You could probably just use a little bit of front camber and a little bit of an extra dampening in the front to get rid of some of the ride issues. And that shot right up. We're having no bottom out. But we could go a little bit lower, just one click. So we got 0.94 and 0.87. 37 sportiness isn't bad for such a small engine. Seems like it maybe could be better, but I don't know if we want to go too crazy here. Yeah, the sportier I make it, the worse the scores get. So I think we're at a happy point there. So how much does this thing weigh? Right at 3,000 pounds. So it's a little hefty, but it is a convertible. So, you know, that does add weight for a 2-liter V6 that redlines at 8,300 RPMs and makes 191 horsepower. It gets 0 to 60, 7.3. We got down to 7.3 somehow. I don't know how that happened. And has a top speed of 145. Quarter mile in a 15.4. So yeah, it's in that category that I was talking about. S2000 range, Miata range, but doing it in a little bit different of a way. Of course, we could put a viscous rear diff in there and get some of that 0 to 60 time back, but it doesn't help our budget buyers. So I don't think I'll do it. If I were making this car for me, if I were making this car for real buyers, I think I probably would. Oh, actually, the viscous doesn't hurt it that much. That's a tough call. Let's leave it on there for now. And now let's go to the markets and see with like a 20% markup. Cool. Okay, we're still above 100. How much above 100 are we? So maybe 30? Oh yeah. Even up to 35, almost 40. And we still had 3 above 100 on the competitiveness. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And it's also got a smattering of the other categories like light sport and budget sport and fun premium even. Odd. A little odd there. But for a $15,000 car, I think that's quite a bargain. I think that's a good car. I don't think I need to go do any more tuning. I think I'm pretty pleased with where it's at. Let's look at engineering stuff and see how much I've messed up. 2 years, 10 months is pretty good. We could do some more funding on that because we have lots of money in our bank. Bring it down a month, basically. That's the engine. The engine's a long time. Okay, that's kind of what I expected. So, I'm not available to hire. So, we're going to have to just fund the absolute crap out of this engine build, I think. And then reliability up the chassis to match. So 3 years, 3 months. And just have to roll with that. What is it on the engine that takes so long? Top end, because of the VTEC, yo. But that's really important. That is really important for this car, I think. I wish I was available to hire, because that would have made things a lot easier here. Factory-wise, we're going to be stealing the Sharky's medium factories, which is perfect for this car. So we can just cruise right through that. I'm going to move this up to 65. No, let's go to 70. Because basically I just want Cooper to stop complaining. So up to 70 on automation. What they will do is make this build more expensive on the get-go, but then cost less to build every car. So it will help our end profits. And if we look at how things will break down here, those will probably go up to 3. Yeah, looks like we're pretty good on the 30% markup. And what kind of markup would we be talking? For near 1.0, probably about a 55%. Yeah, that's pretty good. Or no, you can only make about 2 point, oh, just right about 2.9 shifts. That's plenty of cars though. So there's our base value, making 1-to-1 demand to production at 43% markup. Whether is that or not at the end is unknown, but that's just to give us a good sign-off report here. So it would take us until May of 2003 to make it, and it would probably break even around January of 2005. That's a 20-month period. It's not a huge volume car, but it is a car that I think is pretty important to our company. A $935 million project is no joke. That's a pretty big amount of money, but we have it in the bank for a car that looks like it's going to be successful. I think we'll just go ahead and sign off on that. We'll say that the Sharky will continue and have a second generation. Congrats, Shark! Alright, so we have a car about to be in production, and we have a car in engineering. Let's run through some years today and see how things end up. We need to go ahead and cut production down on the Sharkies because we got 63,000 of them. It's going to be a while before we get to that, but I'm tired of wasting money on this car, so let's just reduce the shifts. And then the Zoids as well, probably can reduce those also. I should probably get to designing a new Zoid soon, because these cars get irrelevant much quicker than the other cars. In fact, I could just cancel this thing. It's made us money. Ooh, that's a tough choice. Yeah, it's made a total profit currently of 245 million, which is about more than you can ask a super exotic car to do just to break even. Let's see if we can trick it into making some money. We'll see if we can make that happen. Oh, Sharky, please, you're still racking up in extra cars. What am I gonna have to do? Lower the shifts down to like 1.5? Did I give Jaws Mark II a whole new factory? Is that what happened? No, it just got canceled. Okay, everything's fine. Alright, fantastic. We end the year 2000 with 576,000 cars sold and a profit loss of $1.5 billion profit, and basically no change, reputation, prestige. What is nice is every car besides the Zoids made money this year, and the Zoids actually had a couple months there where it was making money. So let's look at the economy. Yeah, looks like we're about to have ourselves another very good streak, which would be good so that we can make ourselves another Zoids before we run out of time. Would be nice to make another super ridiculous hypercar and try to sell it. So that's good. There's the sales, the things we're doing very good in, and we're now covering a lot more of this screen, which is cool. Even sooner rather than later, we should be covering this commuter and family because the Jaws just started to sell. Just looking at Fruinia and Arcana real quick. Nothing in Arcana, but Fruinia, not bad, not bad. Alright, so production, Jaws Mark II. It's just barely started, but I already can see that we're probably going to need more of them. Even the rally spec. Even the rally spec. At 50% markup, we still have more sales than we can produce. Unbelievable. Very nice. Okay. So, anything I need to do here? I don't think so. Let's continue on. Alright, Zoids. What are we going to do with you? Should I just stop producing them altogether? 0.5 shifts. 0.5. 2001, over 604,000 cars sold. I think that's one of our, or at least close to a record year. Our reputation and prestige are dropping a little bit as some of our models are getting long in the tooth. I think the Magnet Mark II is maybe taking some big hits in those categories, but a $1.8 billion profit, can't complain. Can't complain at all. Economy is indeed on the incline. In fact, it looks like Fruinia is passing Arcana. That's an interesting development in the luxury stuff. Cool. Alright, and a nice thing, every car we make this year made a profit. Very nice. Let's see, do I want to do anything in 2002? I don't believe so. Let's go ahead and go through 2002, get us to the beginning of 2003, and that's where we'll start next time, probably replacing the magnet, and then maybe the end of 2003, thinking about a new Zoids. Should I just go ahead and cancel the Zoids? Nah, it's not hurting anything. Just let it go. End of the year report for 2002, 615,000 cars sold. No real big issues here in reputation or prestige. However, $1.8 billion gained again. We're inching close to that $30 billion mark. Inching close. And look at this. We have 3 cars currently making a $70 million profit or above. The Jaws Mark II, the Bionic, and the Truffle Mark III. Very good. The Magnet started selling like crazy again. The Sharky is canceled and isn't selling many of these at all. Hopefully we can sell through those, even though it's canceled now, but we may have to just toss some of them at the end of that run. I was really trying to get up to 1 billion cars sold. That was my goal there, but it might not happen. And let's see. Is there anything else really, did I say 1 billion? I meant 1 million, not 1 billion. Anything else to really look at? I guess we could take a peek at the economy. Steady climb. It's no huge spike, but it's a good climb. It's a good climb. Alright, well I think that'll do it for today's automation campaign playthrough. 2000 to 2003. Not a huge lurch for us, but an important move there. I think the Sharky Mark II is going to be another big hit. We're closing in. We're getting near to the end of our campaign playthrough. Still a good couple decades to go here, but we should be getting into some interesting stuff. As the generations go of the vehicles, they're getting better and better, meaning we can start to do crazier and crazier things. Well, I hope you enjoyed as always, and I will see you next time.